Hey friends, welcome back to Jason Unleashed. How's it going? Good to see you. Jason Carter here. Happy Monday. Hope you guys had a great weekend and ready for a new week. Congratulations to all the Emmy winners out there. The Emmys were last night. I completely forgot the Emmys were on last night. Shows where my head is at. But great show for you guys today because my guest is from the hit Apple TV Plus breakout drama, The Morning Show. DESEAN TERRY is here in the house today. We're going to talk to him about the show, his career, what he's been up to in quarantine, all of that. Want to say hi to everyone who just waved. Hey, Blairisms. Hey, Travi. DESEAN just stepped into the room, so let's bring him in. DESEAN TERRY is here. Let's see. Bam. Go live with DESEAN TERRY. DESEAN. I've given up on having a connection song because I don't have the time to make it, nor do I know how, and you guys haven't given me one. So there we have it. So you're stuck with me singing. DESEAN!
Cool. All right, I figured it out. How you doing?
You figured it out?
I figured it out.
Wait, have you not gone live before?
I have, but I moved, and every time you do it, it's just sort of like you got to put the pieces together and just like, oh, where's this at? And then I realized I was like, oh, you can't go live on your computer. So I was thinking, I was like, oh, because the default is I'm just gonna Zoom, get my computer set up. I'm like, no, I gotta do it through the cell phone. So yeah, but I'm here, man. How you doing?
I'm good. Good to see you. Welcome to Jason Unleashed. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, man, I'm excited.
Good to see you, man. How has quarantine been for you?
What is it? I took this phrase from my friend. She said.
Oh, wait, you froze. So, wait. So the power just went out in my apartment. So now I'm in the dark. But you know what? The show must go on. So keep on going.
So yeah, my friend, she said the phrase. She was like, "I'm COVID well," and so that's honestly been my phrase. I'm alive. I'm breathing. My family, we are all well. No one's. Well, I've lost some people and stuff like that, but my immediate family, everyone has remained healthy and, taking our precautions and going day by day. So I feel like I'm doing as well as can be expected during these times. So right. I'm grateful for that, man.
We're grateful for you and condolences for your loss, DESEAN. I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad that you and your family are doing well. And these are unprecedented times. I say that time and time again because we have never experienced anything like this ever, at least in my lifetime.
Yeah, man. It's I like to, it's very interesting because I keep saying it as a joke every chapter that we go through. I'm like, oh yeah, it'll be interesting to see what chapter we get through next. Thinking that, maybe this is going to stop, but every couple weeks, man, it just feels like we just turn a whole new chapter on.
I know. It's definitely, a whole new chapter, not only on COVID, but just on, I would say, being Black in America, just being alive right now. It seems like it's a complete test of the resiliency of humanity. That's what 2020, if you could have one word to describe 2020 or three, it would be dumpster fire and resilience, I would say.
Yeah. It's been, dude, it's been tough. Yeah, and especially what you're saying about so many things on top of each other, right? The pandemic, then we have all the conversations we have about race, dealing with racial injustice, which is great that we're having the conversation, but, it's just so much at the same time. And then so many beautiful people we've lost so many amazing people, Chadwick Boseman 2 weeks ago, RBG. It just keeps knocking at you. So
with that said, I definitely want to talk about your career in the morning show, but just piggybacking off of what you said about racial injustice and, a lot of actor friends who are now refusing to take roles that aren't uplifting the Black community, that aren't pushing forward positivity in the Black community. What has transpired in 2020 in regards to Blackness in America, being Black in this industry, how has that impacted you creatively?
I feel like that particularly has given me even more of a sort of like a juice and a fire to, because the conversation is so out in the open right now.
Right. Sure.
And I'm excited about, even going back to the morning show, which was already starting to have these conversations. I don't know exactly what we're doing for season 2, but I know that the writers have gone back into the writers' room, and they are writing stuff that is reflective of what we're going through right now. So I'm excited about that, and so it just really has been invigorating to really. Dang, it's like lightning.
Dude, it's a strobe show. It's a strobe show, T. You know what? Let's. I'm gonna move this out. We're gonna go to where the light is. Where the light.
Oh, there you go. That's beautiful light.
I always have a backup.
Yeah, you just put the ring light out of business right there.
Bro, forget a ring light. But so you said that, but the show, you guys are going back into season 2, and you're not too sure about what that entails, but you do know that, of course, because like season 1. Very topical, very reflective of what has been happening in the world and what's been the conversation in the zeitgeist prior to the morning show debuting last November. But let's talk about that. Well, your career has been crazy. This Broadway kid, you're LA, went to Yoloya, graduated from Juilliard. Broadway kid, wanted to do Broadway, but then you said, you know what? I'm tired of the cold of New York City. Take me back to LA. And here we are transitioning off the mean streets of Broadway, which is an incredible community. The Broadway community is like no other in this business because there's such a energy of community there. There's such a legacy of just support and creativity that sometimes you don't get in Los Angeles. You don't get in the grand scheme of things, but you left that, you went to LA. How did that work out for you? And how did you end up ending on the morning show?
Dude, I'm laughing because it's literally like lightning.
I know. We're gonna look back on this interview, T, and be like, you know what? The best thing was the lighting in the interview.
You know, it's kind of scaring me because I've been watching Lovecraft Country, which is amazing, and so I'm like, this is some Lovecraft Country shit going on in your eyes.
It's Black Boy Magic, man. Black Boy Magic.
But yeah, I think you were talking about. So I never did Broadway. I did off Broadway. I graduated from Juilliard, and you know, originally I'm from Central America, Belize City, Belize. Mm-hmm. So I love me some warm weather. And so when I graduated from school, you know, everyone when you graduate, you're like, oh, what am I gonna do? You know, am I film, TV, am I theater? And I did think when I moved to New York, I was like, oh yeah, man, I'm just, because I love theater. And so I was like, I'm just, you know, this is where I'm gonna settle down, until I started experiencing those New York winters. And I was like, I don't care what I'm doing, but I'm not gonna sit here in this cold. I'm going back to sunny California, and I'm gonna live my best life. Yes, and work will come after that. But that's always been my sort of motto. I feel like you gotta, you know, as artists, sometimes we center our lives around work, and that's noble. I don't want to knock anyone who centers their lives around work, but I've always wanted to center my life around happiness and what makes me happy. My family is in Los Angeles, so I was quick to move from New York just to get back to. And I also think that if you've lived, some people might disagree with me, but I feel like if you've experienced LA and all its gloriousness, you know, being able to, the weather, the space, and everything else, and then you move to New York, it's more difficult to adapt to New York once you've had a taste of LA. Yeah. And then the New Yorkers, it's fun when they move out here. Some of them just can't take it because the pacing is just so different for them.
It's so different. I mean, that makes sense because New Yorkers, I'm turning off all the lights so we don't have the light show anymore. New Yorkers are, you know, there's a hustle there. There's a hustle. There's also an energy of New York. Every time I go to New York, it's you feel like it's like go, but it's not like the rat race. I kind of go that LA is. It's just like there's just an energy of movement, I would say, in New York City.
Yeah. What I do like about New York, though, is that there is, community-wise, there is more diversity in terms of population. So it's like you're talking to people from all different industries when you're on the train or just like as you walk out the house. Whereas LA seems to feel sometimes a little bit more homogenous. And so it's like, not that I, you know, have anything against, I love, you know, working and living with my artists and stuff. But, you know, what I miss about LA is being, New York is having those conversations with, you know, so many people from different industries. And LA gets homogenous in that way. But other than that, I mean, I'm a big LA guy. So people know that about me. So there's no secrets about it. I'm like, LA all day.
LA all day, man. Well, here we are. You have done some amazing guest appearances on shows like Grey's Anatomy, Scorpion, Night Shift, House, ER, ER. Doo-doo-doo-doo. I always used to laugh when Eric LaSalle would do. Did he do that punch in the beginning? That. Remember that? It was so corny.
I did it after LaSalle was on it. I did it when Linda Cardellini, who I went to undergrad with, who I love, who's on now the Dead to Me, which is another show that I love. She's always been amazing. So I did it with her, and that was really cool. That was one of my first major guest stars, and so yeah, that was cool to start working with Linda off the bat. But yeah.
So here we are with the morning show. 2019, that was one of the most talked about, most anticipated shows in the television zeitgeist. Everyone, I mean, when we met at ET, I had already been watching. We had got the screeners that summer, and I remember standing up in the newsroom of 50 people yelling out, "You cannot write this shit," because it was that good. The finale, But this show really was like nothing we had seen on TV before ever. And it tackled, I think, in a clever and very nuanced way, again, conversations that had been going on for about 3 years about Me Too, Time's Up, equality, pay disparity, all those things. How did you end up on this show? And what was the audition process like? Because you're acting alongside some everyone on the show is incredible, point blank, period.
So I do believe that I have fortunately, a connection with Mr. Daniel Henderson, because when I read the script, when I auditioned for it, so you go through auditions all the time, and some of them you're like, all right, I'm just going to turn this in, and then some of them you fall in love with. I really did fall in love with him pretty soon, and so when I had the first audition, and they brought me in for the callback. That's when I got really excited, because I really felt like there was a synergy between me and him, and I really understood him. I really, understood the struggle of feeling that you have done all the work that you needed to do as a Black man. You've gone above and beyond.
And beyond, yes.
The call of duty, right? You can relate. Right? So you've done it all, and you're constantly looked over. You're constantly passed over. For whatever, you're not in the boys club. You're not in the, you're not getting the opportunities that you deserve, even though you're demonstrating that skill. So I really understood that, and I just really felt that it's an important story to tell. And I also love just all the dynamics of Daniel. I love that there's this character where I think he has a beautiful soul, beautiful heart. Sometimes he can be a little bit crafty, sometimes he could be a little bit mean, sometimes he could be a little shady, and so and that's one of the things I love about our show too, in general, that it that I feel like you really see the dynamics of the workplace and how people work together. That it's not, even though it's a drama, there's such crazy moments in it. There's such heartfelt moments in it, and there's also just fun in the workplace, because I think the characters really do, at the end of the day, love each other. So I was really excited when they brought me in for the callback. And then once I went into the callback, I don't think I've ever said this, actually.
Ooh, exclusive.
Once I went into the callback, and I do believe that I think that first callback that I had, I felt it was probably the best audition in my life. And I got into the room, and am I still here?
Yeah, you're still here. Yeah.
I got into the room, and I locked eyes with Mimi Leader, and that was interesting, because when I locked eyes with Mimi, I don't know what she felt, but what I felt was oh wow. First of all, I was she is powerful, and immediately I was I want to be involved in that force, in that orbit of who she was, and I really felt in that moment that Mimi saw me, and I don't think I felt that in any other audition, in anything else that I felt, where I was this person is really seeing me right now. And I remember that callback, because I was wow, yeah, I'm just gonna drop in and deliver Mr. Daniel Henderson. And I walked out of it being man, I'm fucking really proud of what I did.
I love
and
that.
then a couple weeks later, they gave me the phone call.
And the rest is history. Piggybacking off and talking much about what you said about Mimi Leader, I had an opportunity to interview her on the Basis of Sex premiere. She directed that movie with Justin Theroux and Felicity Jones. And I agree with you. The way when she talks to you, it's like you're the only person in the world that is sitting right next to her, and she has such intention in her energy. So I feel that. Yeah. You had mentioned that about the show and how it's depicting real life things, and how Daniel and how you really identify with Daniel. I think that's one of the reasons why people really like the show, Deshaun, is because it gets straight to the point, right? It's not, a lot of dramas take a while to build, and they take a while to be like, okay, what are we getting into here? Can we get to it? But the morning show doesn't do that. Here we are in the first 5 minutes, deep in the drama. And for someone who works in news and who loves morning television, it was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly how it really happens. And every single character, Deshaun, is very buoyant. Normally you have the stars, then you have the supporting cast that sometimes will get thrown a bone, right? We'll be like, oh, they're having a moment, but every single character has a compelling story to tell, be it the person trying to poach you to go to their network, or you having a moment about being, look, I'm Black, I've done all I can. When are you guys going to finally see me? I'm worth my salt. And if you're not going to do that, then I'm going to look elsewhere. It's just everything just fits so well. And that's a testament to the people that are telling the stories in the writer's room, them getting it right. You said that you understood Daniel's experience. What instances from your life, if you can go in depth, did you have to bring in creatively to really connect with Daniel? To be like, hey, I see this guy. Was there any memories or an experience in particular that made you feel like, wow, I can go there and authentically play this role?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think just even, starting off from the experience, like I said, I'm a person who believes wholeheartedly in education. And so when I got accepted to Juilliard, I was like, thank you that I was able to get that opportunity. So I really felt like as an actor, because even though, I don't know what it is to do the news, and I respect what you guys do so tremendously, especially having gone through those shoes. But it does involve the media, and it does involve a lot of preparation. And so, once I graduated from Juilliard, and, the work wasn't coming, right? And, it's still a challenge today. Yeah. But it's like, as people of color, we know that story because you really, you've gone above and beyond. I mean, I've been told, and I continue to be told, that, oh, you're not Black enough. Oh, he's too Black. It's like, yeah. So it's like, that's the name of the story. And also, as an actor of color, they really want to put you in these very limited boxes.
Right.
And so that's the other thing I like about Daniel, is because he's also, one thing about our show is that everyone is allowed to have neuroses, which is huge. Usually on television, oftentimes people of color don't get to have neuroses. Neuroses is a particular thing that they ascribe only to white characters. Yep. And so that's one of the things that I love about Dan, because that's a part of my life. You know what I'm saying? That's a part of who I am. And so all these things that I've never been able to dialogue about in my life that I'm going through on a day-to-day basis, I've never, rarely seen it reflected in a script the way that we, the way that they did in the morning show. So it's literally unending, the amount of ways that I relate to Mr. Daniel Henderson, and feel so privileged that I get to embark on the journey of telling his story.
We're privileged to get to see that play out in this show, because, as I said, I watch a lot of TV. I've seen a lot of TV. My genre of TV that I really love is drama. So when you have a show that's heavily touted as the morning show with Jen Anderson, Reese Witherspoon, Billy Crudup, like the characters, the list of actors in this show is just impeccable. And then to actually have it be good is such a gift. Deshaun, you're the constant scholar. I know for a fact that you wanted to experience what journalists and anchors do, going on sets, studying people. What did you learn about morning news and news that surprised you about anchors and journalists? And
y'all situation is crazy.
Crazy.
That's what I learned. This year I actually I went and I did a day over at Fox News KTLA, the morning news, and that was crazy. It was crazy because getting to see just firsthand the shifts. How there's some people who come in at 3 a.m,
yeah,
and some people who've been there all day, and y'all, and like we talk about it in the show, how everyone is sleep deprived, and it was funny because also what was happening in the room is that there were these crazy things happening in the news, but you have to desensitize yourself to it, and so. I was there on the day when, I don't know if you remember this, I hope I remember this story correct, but there was a day a few months ago, this was when Corona hadn't really people hadn't fully paid attention to it, but there was a day when I think there was a police chase and they caught these guys in the hearse, and there was bodies in the hearse and stuff like that. And so it was hysterical because when the news came into the room, people were running around, just yelling and shit. It was hysterical. It's a really crazy, zany world, and the shit that you guys have to do in order to remain present, desensitize yourself to some of all the stuff that's going on, and just all the hard work and how it's constantly shifting.
Constantly.
So, yeah. It's cool. It's a really it's an exciting world to be in and to explore.
I mean, the news cycle never sleeps, right? And much like the ratings saga of morning television, as we see in the show, you always want to get the scoop. You always want to be number one. You want to be first out the gate, right? You want to maintain that number one spot because to lose ratings is millions of dollars. To drop to the number 2 spot or number 3 spot is the exit of lots of money. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about, right? For business-wise, the bottom line is the coin.
Yeah.
So when something breaks, and it's also very interesting how what we consider news, right? How we say, we give importance to something that really is is it really that important? But because of how we deliver it, it's so intense. Oh, it's news, right? And sometimes it's really not. It's that was the corniest shit ever. But because we have to go live with it because it's topical, especially with social media getting behind everything, it becomes a thing. It really does. So, but I'm glad you had that experience. How are you going to apply that or take what you experienced into Daniel in season 2?
I think understanding just the atmosphere of the world more. And I think we do a good job of representing it in the show. But just getting the atmosphere of the world, was just really exciting. Whenever you really look at humanity and what we've created, I mean, just literally the fact of the amount of humor, the people that I was shadowing, the amount of humor they got to use. Just to make it through the day.
I know.
The amount of coffee, they got to drink.
It's never ending.
Yeah, and then all the crazy shit that's going on. I can't even imagine what it would be like to be, right now. I would be interested. I don't know exactly what we're going to explore in the show. I have no idea. But, it's interesting to think how the world is impacted right now, how that world is impacted through COVID, what people do in the home studios, and some people being in the studios, that whole technology question, and the news cycle feeling as if it's it's growing by infinite numbers. It's there's so many crazy things happening all at the same time. It's really, really difficult to keep track of it as a viewer. I can't even imagine what it's like for the people who are behind the scenes. So
it's a lot. It's a lot. Also, what it also is a lot on is your mental health and just your overall spirit, because you're constantly being inundated with the stimulus and this news. And you mentioned being desensitized. Sorry, desensitized. What's wrong with me? The coffee. It's the coffee. But you really aren't. You make a choice to not feel those things, but it absolutely affects you. It 100% surely affects you. You just put on you act as if it does not. So it's a lot. But much like acting, you go hard or go home. If it's something you're passionate about, you say, this is my job. There's an adrenaline rush that comes when you're being counted down in your ear and that light goes on. You know it's not about you, it's about your audience. It's about giving of that gift to your audience. So yeah,
it's like the Lorne Michaels quote. He's like, you don't go on because you're ready, you go on because it's 12 o'clock.
Right. and a Hail Mary and just hope for the best, you know what I mean? Some days. People have been binging the show over and over and over now that we've had the time in quarantine.
I know a lot of people have watched it during quarantine. That's been really cool. With the slowdown, there's been definitely a lot of like trickling in of messages and people being like, oh my God, I finally got to see the show. And oh my God, like and a lot of people, really responding to the show, connecting to the characters, and the importance of the situation. So in that regards, that's been cool to sort of see people delayed in terms of going back and viewing the show and responding to it.
Have you binged it again? Have you gone back and rewatched it?
No, I haven't. I've seen it. I think there's some episodes that I've seen like maybe 2 or 3 times, but no, I haven't gone back and binged it. I watched that finale, I think like 2 or 3 times, like,
yeah.
But I haven't gone back and watched the whole thing again. But in all honesty, for me, quarantine has been so many different chapters, changing from month to month, week to week. So there were some weeks it was like I couldn't go back and look at any TV. It was like I had to deal with life. Also had to move during this quarantine. So
same.
There's been a lot going on. You had to move?
Yeah, I moved across the country.
Oh shit. Oh yeah. Where are you? Are you in Florida?
Yeah, Miami now.
Oh yeah, I saw that on a post on your location. I was like, wait, is he here? What?
Yeah,
when did you move to Florida?
Beginning of August. Yeah, it's been great. I mean, look, the universe, man, you end up where you end up. But moving in quarantine is a lot because the freedoms. It's one. COVID has felt like this shroud of like, ooh, is it out there? It's like that Bird Box where you don't look at it, like you're trying to you can't see it, but it's there. That's what COVID is. And so you're constantly like ducking and weaving, you can't really just be who you normally are in COVID. But you say you didn't binge a show. Yes.
Wait, hold up. So we got to talk about this. So you're in Florida right now. So you haven't experienced the pandemic on top of the wildfires. Walking outside, I'm on the east side, but walking outside and your car and your porch is covered in ash.
Soot? Nope.
Yeah. And then I had a friend who said that they went to Dodger Stadium to get their coronavirus test. There was an orange sky. It's been really, really nuts.
I know.
For the last 3 weeks.
California, I don't know what California did in the past life, but the shit show that California gets thrown into year after year. Remember, a couple years ago, it was scorched earth. The whole LA was on fire, right?
Yeah. And then the earthquake on Friday night, dude.
What kind of karma? What did LA do? What did California do to have this kind of karma? We need to pray for LA. Pray for LA. That needs to be a hashtag. Pray for LA. Because no, you're right though. Luckily I did miss the orange sky. I saw all the pictures though, and even though it's grotesque, there was something fascinating about it though, right? It was like, this is not real. Much like when we were forced into quarantine in March, to just stop and wrap your head around what's happening takes a couple of weeks to realize this is actually real life. This is what 2020 keeps, just the deluge of fresh hell that we wake up to every day. It just keeps coming and coming. But again, back to being resilient though. Some people that get really altruistic with it say it's a test, that we're being tested right now. And we'll look back on this year and be like, boom, we fly in colors.
Yeah, and the whole energy of the city. The closest thing I've had to this experience was because I was in New York for 9/11. And I remember
Yes.
I remember New York after 9/11, that the whole atmosphere, the whole vibe of the city was just like people were just like zombies, just walking through. And then it feels as if this has occurred, but it's now, months of this. So,
right.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, all we can do is just keep on moving, keep on keeping on, and supporting each other, right? Because I think when everything else is falling apart, that you can't control, what you can control is how you treat other people and how you engage with other people and how you show up for other people and how you support other people. And I think there's a superpower in that. And people, I think now, again, silver linings of COVID are reconnecting and realizing that it's okay to not to be an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some people are being bigger assholes, but that's okay.
You know, in a place called the White House, but no politics talk here. No politics talk here. But I want to ask you though. You said you watched the finale, which again, that's when I stood up and screamed out that you couldn't write this crap. Looking back on the show, was there one particular scene that really just like resonates with you even now, that you're like, that was probably some of my best work in my career, that you think that was like, I'm so grateful that I got to have that moment in the show, because I'm gonna look back and be like, damn, I did that.
Well, you know, altogether, I just fucking I'm sorry, am I supposed to curse on here? Is Instagram?
Yeah, dude, yeah. Do what you want.
Shuts down and be like, yeah, they're cursing here. The whole show in the whole season of the show, I really love you know, because also when someone else sees it and you're with them, that's one of the best experiences, because then you get to see it through their eyes. And when I watched it, when we were watching it the first time, I was watching it with a bunch of my female friends, and the comment that they had afterwards, after watching a couple of the episodes, they said like, "Wow, this is the show that I've seen the most that understands, that gave insight to the female experience in the workplace."
Yes.
Yeah, and so that was very interesting to see how they responded to it, and then going through it, you know, because our scripts, we had like a full season plot, but some of the scripts came like, you know, week to week, and it was very awesome to see just how these things were layered throughout the entire season, and just sort of like watching the map that Carrie, our showrunner and creator, that she created. And so it was really great when you go back on it to really see how all these details are interwoven. And, you know, like, especially with like Gugu's character and how, you know, the things being laid out. And so what the episodes I have seen a couple times, those are the things that really jump out to me. And then I really feel like the payoff that we get, because it feels like the whole season starts to percolate. All the characters are percolating up to that episode 8, episode 9, where there's just so many, you know, just so many scenes that I just really just fucking love. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff there that I love.
We loved all of it. I loved all of it. And like I said, every character was just so present and available and seen in this show. And the writing didn't leave anyone out, you know, like, again, like, there's ebbs and flows to dramas, right? There's ebbs and flows to TV shows where, like, one of my favorite shows, Grey's Anatomy, which you were a guest star on, seasons 1 through 6, it's still a great show, but every character had a moment, and it was just this organic ebb and flow of just like, you just knew everyone and what they were about. You don't have to wonder about a character because the writing was that great. And I think the morning show, and Carrie has done a great job with making sure that is there. And I think, I'm hoping, because we don't know, because you keep saying we don't know what's going on in season 2, but I'm pretty sure season 2 is going to even build on that genius writing and just that great storytelling, because the show is one of a kind. There hasn't been a show like this on TV ever. And luckily it's on subscription television to where they can push envelopes and push the boundary. Gugu's death, I mean, the spoiler alert, but what?
It's a big spoiler right there.
People seen it. This is my show. I can give spoilers. It's my show. But you know, so enough about the morning show for you. You are a man of many talents. You are an actor, you're a producer. What does the future hold for you? Beyond acting, what else do you want to get your hands into?
Well, you know, I have my theater company, which we're working on stuff. You know, this current moment, I think, you know, let me show my entire thing. So, you know, this entire moment is definitely, you know, important for all of us. And so through the theater company, right now I'm trying to do as much as possible in terms of voter mobilization. You know, I always love, you know, I don't want to do a story that doesn't be in a story that isn't advocating for some type of change in the world. And so we have a bunch of stuff coming up with the theater company. And really, I'm focusing on all of that right now. And then, of course, there's the projects around, you know, shooting. It's been cool to do like a couple COVID things, right? It's like there are all these, you know, there's nothing I can talk about, but there's there's all these little projects that you know, artists were putting together. Be like, hey, I'm doing this, doing that, and so it'll be cool to see some of that stuff, how that comes out. And yeah, man, I think right now for me, the main focus is really, like you said at the very beginning of it, is what story am I telling? How is it making the world better? How is it particularly bringing about change and equity for people of color? You know, that's my primary focus right now, whether it be through doing television, doing theater, doing, you know, if I need to get out there on the protest line. That's the main thing, you know, because art is protest, right?
It is.
It's an act of protest. And so I'm fortunate that I've been able to work on a lot of projects, whether it's extremely visible or if it's, you know, just, you know, me and my friends, you know, raising money for the ACLU, right? That's the thing that really gets me. So I'm fortunate that I've been involved across the line with projects that are focusing on change. And that I'm always trying to generate and you know, stick my hands in those pots. That's what really keeps me going.
I love how you just so beautifully illustrated a different shade, a different lens, a different color of what activism can be and look like. Because you know, I've had many conversations with people about what activism is, and I think activism is using whatever platform you have, be it you as a creative, as you just said. I'm using my talent and writing these scripts and performing and doing all these things as a form of activism. And I think that's beautiful to actually highlight, because it's beyond posting a box on Instagram. It's beyond a tweet. It's beyond a Facebook post. And those are beautiful things too. That's a way to use your platform. That's a way to use your voice. But it doesn't stop there. And anyone that's familiar or present and aware in what they have in their arsenal to protest and be an activist, that's a powerful thing. So thank you for saying that, because I've had arguments with people about what activism looks like, and there's this myopic view of what it looks like. And it's so many different things beyond what we're traditionally used to seeing, really.
Yeah, that's what's so cool about the social media moment. I just finished reading End of White Politics. What's her name? Oh God. We'll have to post who wrote it. But I just finished reading The End of White Politics, and she was really great about talking about how this social media moment is an evolution of the protests that we saw in the 60s, and how, essentially, these individual platforms that we have, that there's so many ways for us to express our voices right now. And I just really recommend it as a read.
Awesome. I'll put that in the comment. I'll put that in the description when I post the video. DESEAN, it has been incredible talking to you today. I'm glad we could reconnect again. Congratulations on everything. Again, you do such great work, such a kick-ass dude. Happy to have met you at ET, where my co-host called you DeSean Jackson, but you're not DeSean Jackson. You should see the emails that went out about that. No.
As soon as it happens again, I'm gonna text you like, I got called DeSean Jackson again.
Do it, man. But we're excited for everything you have. We're excited for everything you've done, everything that's coming in the future, and you keep on killing it. And you keep on being an incredible talent and just an incredible man. And thank you for being on Jasonunleashed today, man. I see you and I appreciate you.
Oh man, thank you for inviting me. Make sure you make your voting plan. IamAvoter.com they'll help you create your voting plan. You can go to their Instagram page. I'm a voter, and just please, everyone, get out and vote. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but let's really let our voices be heard. It's such an important time.
There you go, DESEAN TERRY, everyone. Round of applause. All right, man. You go on and have an amazing day.
You need to fix the lightning strikes and all the stuff.
I feel, well, it's actually raining here. I think there's like a tropical depression happening here in Miami. And also, I kind of like this light better than my actual $400 light setup.
I was going to say the same thing. I was like, this is beautiful, soft lighting. But
it's diffused.
Do you have a basement?
I do have a basement.
Okay, you need to go take the basement because I'm just a little bit concerned. I just saw episode 3 of Lovecraft Country.
Oh.
Have you seen it?
No, and I'm watching way too many things. Right now, I'm in the middle of the social experiment, and it's making me rethink my social media. It's making me rethink all of this. Because
you mean the social dilemma?
Same thing, experiment, dilemma. You knew what I meant. The social something, okay? It's on Netflix. It's streaming right now. It makes you rethink your social media life, and it makes you feel guilty for even being on social media. That's what we're talking about.
Well then when you get to Lovecraft Country, I'm going to tell you, episode 3, there was a scene in there where I was like, oh, wow. Y'all just bringing all the things, especially after watching Watchmen. It's yeah. So anyway, I'm just a little bit concerned that there might be some Lovecraft Country going on in your basement right now.
Hey, welcome to 2020. What else? I mean, bring it on. Bring it on. All right, Deshaun, I'll talk to you later, man.
Good to see you, man.
You too. Bye.
Bye.